We are gonna make the easiest, most delicious, healthier chocolate fudge bars. There's like a nutty, delicious layer on the bottom, and then smooth, chocolatey delight that goes on top, which is also kind of like a miracle. You can use it for icing on a cake or whatever you want, or you can just make it on its own. But today, I'm gonna show you how to do double layer chocolatey awesomeness. And all you need is a food processor and a few simple ingredients. So let's begin. All right, so you want one of these food processors. This thing is like 100 years old. She's a beast. You can't go wrong. You're also gonna want a pan, 8x8 pan. This is a no-bake dessert, so I'm just using wax paper. You can use parchment paper, whatever. It does make it easier if you want to slice it and take the brownie squares out. Brownie squares? We're gonna go with it. That's what they're called now. We're also using about 1.25 cups of dates. Now, these have been soaked in warm water for about 20 minutes. If you have big, juicy medjool dates, you probably don't need to do that. But these were pretty dry, and I want to make it a little bit easier on this old machine. All right? So that's why I did that. It's a game changer if you ever use dates. We're also using 1/4 cup of walnuts and 1/4 cup of almonds. You can use all the same nut. You can switch it up. You can do whatever you want. You just want about 1/2 cup of nuts. And about 1/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. And 1/4 cup of almond butter. You can use nut or seed butter, whatever you love. We are just going to blend this together until it's a nice consistency where there's no giant chunks of nuts. But you don't want it to be so fine that it turns into like a paste. So you got to watch it a little bit. Skill testing moment of if you can get the lid on. I almost failed, but I got it. Let's have a look. See what's happening? You can see that the almonds, they take a minute to break down, which that's kind of okay. I don't really mind that, but I am gonna get them a little bit smaller, and then we'll move on to the next part. It's perfect. All right. You can see there's kind of little chunks. It's quite sticky. That's okay. We're gonna refrigerate it, cool it down, and it's gonna be good. All right, that business is out of my way. Let's do this. This is gonna be messy. That's all right. I'm gonna show you what I do. Okay, at this point, it doesn't look amazing. I think because the dates were still warm, it's a little bit stickier than normal, but that's fine. I'm gonna show you how we deal with that. So I am just gonna use an extra piece of wax paper. You can use parchment paper, you can use whatever you want, all right? And all we're gonna do is we're gonna squish this out. This just stops it from making your hands disgusting. You can also just put a little bit of oil on your hands and that will help too. And even water works. This is my lazy hack. Too big. You want it to be even to the edges, so kind of you gotta work it into the corners. Okay, that's a fun sound. But you can see that it's pretty well all the same thickness. We have like a disc of chocolatey goodness. What we're gonna do is we're going to put this thing in the fridge or the freezer, whatever you want, for about 10 or 20 minutes while we do the next stage. This is not essential. I just feel like it's gonna be beneficial for this one to cool down. It needs a minute, all right? So I'm gonna put this in the freezer and we're gonna move on to the Fudgy Delight top. Okay, to make this incredible chocolate Fudgy Delight, all you're gonna need is the solid part of the top of a can of coconut milk. So coconut cream, essentially. You don't want the liquid part. You just want about a cup of the coconut cream. We're gonna use about a cup-ish, maybe 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened chocolate. You can use whatever chocolate you prefer. We're just trying to use less refined sugar. So we're using this, and we're gonna use about 1/4 cup of local honey. This is probably more like 3 tablespoons, but it's an approximate situation. To be honest, I'm not huge on measuring, so that's the truth. So many people would make this, I'm sure, melt it together in a microwave. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make myself a little double boiler action. We're gonna add all of these ingredients into this little bowl, and then we're just gonna slowly melt them together, and the magic is just gonna happen. You'll see. All right, come and join me at the stove where we will melt these together. All right, now that this is all beautifully blended together, you want to make sure there's no big chunks of chocolate left. I mean, that'd be weird texture, I think. So it's just nice and smooth. Now we can add it to our chocolate brownie base, and then we will have to cool it all down for, I would say, at least a couple of hours, maybe overnight. You want to let this one really come together. It's also a dessert you will want to keep cool. So it's not necessarily the best for packing to a warm picnic scenario, all right? Okay, so all we do here, I'm gonna make sure I don't miss this shot, is we dump it in. Smooth it around. And we'll pop this into the fridge for a couple of hours. You want to make sure that it's level so all of the chocolate fudge doesn't end up sliding to one side. But other than that, she's ready to go. All right, so this is cool. It could probably use another hour, but we don't have an hour today. We're just gonna cut it and eat it, and it's gonna be amazing. So I love using parchment paper or wax paper because you can just pop it right out. You can see that it's not totally cold yet, but it's gonna be good. So it hasn't fully firmed up, but you can see that it has a layer, a delicious kind of chocolatey, chewy, brownie goodness. And then there's this layer that is light and chocolatey and kind of like mousse almost. And the combination is fantastic. I'm gonna have a bite because it's irresistible. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen today. I am so grateful you're here. If you have any questions, reach out. I'm here for you. It's so good. We are gonna make some after school treats for your kids or for you, whatever. Chocolate peanut butter cookies that are naturally gluten-free as long as you use gluten-free oats. They're made with incredibly simple ingredients and they're a little bit healthier than regular cookies. So to begin with, you are going to want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and get a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. And then we're gonna get into this right now. So what you want is a heaping cup of oats. This is not a huge batch of cookies, but it's a good time. So one heaping cup of oats, you want about, I don't know, a third or a half a cup of chocolate chips. You decide. 3/4 cups of peanut butter. You can use any nut butter or seed butter that you like. My kids love peanut butter, so that's what we're rolling with. And a half a cup of almond flour. For a sweetener, we're gonna use a 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup. And we're gonna add in a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. What I need is a bowl and a mixing spoon. So I'm gonna do that right now. All right, here we go. We're gonna add to our bowl our oats and our almond flour. Our maple syrup, such a miracle ingredient. Our peanut butter, oh my gosh, what are you gonna do? Get unsweetened, just peanuts, maybe some salt. That's all you need for the best peanut butter, in my opinion. When it comes to cooking or eating for your gut health, the simpler the ingredients, the better it is for you. I am just eating peanut butter and the vanilla. And then we're just gonna mix this together. See how fun and easy that comes together? This is like the perfect get your kids cooking recipe. because it's so yummy and it smells so good. Maple syrup and peanut butter. And we're gonna add the chocolate chips. I mean, you cannot go wrong. Okay, that is it. Pretty amazing, right? Whoa. Mostly I just cook so that I can eat things off my fingers. That's what it's about. So now I'm gonna make these like a heaping tablespoon big. Kind of forming them into cookie shape. This is like pretty low consequences, my friend. So I like to use dark chocolate chips because then you can be like, there's just superfood. It's good for you. As long as you don't overdo it, right? Oh my gosh, it's getting messy. It's getting messy now. All right, they're all pretty much the same size-ish. I'm gonna leave them like mounds like this, but you could flatten them if you wanted. And we're just gonna pop them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. And then you wanna let them fully cool before you transfer them to your mouth. You know what I'm saying? All right, we'll let those bake and then we'll eat them. All right, ta-da! Cookies, fresh out of the oven, so hot. Normally I would finish this with taking a bite, but I'm not going to today because I will burn my mouth. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you give these a try. You're gonna love them, your kids are gonna love them. They're so delicious. And I'm talking about making healthy desserts, but it is important to remember that sugar, when overconsumed, is not optimal for our gut health. However, I cannot imagine a life without something yummy every now and then. So my goal always is to try and reduce the sugar intake just a little bit while still making something delicious. These are those. What? I don't know. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good day.